Hello, I'm here with Thomas Engel, Director of Technology, and Albert Chen, the level designer for this particular level. Maybe we'll start with you, Thomas, and maybe you can talk about some of the unique programming challenges of this level and some of the things that we're seeing that players just sort of take for granted on this level.
Well, what do you take for granted in this level? Ruins, I guess. Well, I mean, this level is probably one of the most dramatic show-offs for the light scattering that we got for the first time in this game. And, well, what is light scattering basically? It is LA at a really bad day, and it's pretty much the model for this thing. It's a technique to tell the computer a bit more about how real atmospheres and real light in the real world behaves, and gives a bit more of a realistic touch. So basically, in this level, if you fly towards the sun, you see the beautiful corona of it and all the beautiful colors, then, well, that's light scattering. If you would look at the level without the light scattering technology enabled, this would be a pretty boring, pretty white level without much going on. It really calculates the whole way how the rays of the sun interact with the atmosphere and give you nice sunsets and even a blue sky. So in other levels like Hoth, we have a blue sky. Even the fact that the sky is blue is actually, for the most part, well, due to the light scattering. So we really simulate the real thing. And, well, that's what sometimes subtly and sometimes really in your eye gives you a more realistic look to things.
Now, do the programmers work with the artists to get the look right, or did the programmers just know how light and, I mean, normally, you know, you think of an artist doing a lot of the lighting and shadowing and such, but what you were saying is that a lot of it is programming, and I'm just curious how the relationship works.
It's a very much a cooperation between both. The thing is that the basic physics would give you blue sky, red sun, that kind of thing, but by no means we have, well, the all-powerful make a level beautiful things. So all characteristics of the atmosphere are actually pretty much tweaked to look good by the artists. So the results here in Ralltiir, that it looks really like this desolate LA atmosphere with post-war kind of look, is very much the work of artists and carefully selecting all the parameters for the atmosphere so that it looks good. So the programmers and the computer does the math, but it's like programmers with pink boxes, the computer is really bad with art. So the choice of colors and everything, that's in the end still an artist's decision.
Now, who came up with the idea that this level would actually take advantage of, you know, the light scattering and have this kind of look? Was it you, Albert, that was figuring out that you wanted this level to look smoggy like LA, and then did you then go to the programmers and say, hey, I want to have smog and I want to have it look like LA?
Well, I mean, the actual inspiration for Ralltiir was Cobol in Afghanistan. We noticed a lot of nice shots from CNN and a lot of the newscasts during the U.S. troop deployments in Afghanistan. And we noticed that Cobol had an interesting look, very dusty, very desolate, very beat up. I mean, we're very war-torn. And we kind of took that cue and kind of took it 100 times further and added a lot of these scattering effects to make the city really, really desolate and very ruined and battered, because we really wanted the player to know that the planet has been under bombardment from orbit for quite a long time, and there obviously, when that happens, there's a lot of dust and debris in the air, and I think we really pulled off the look.
Now, this level has a lot of things going on with it as far as light scattering. It's got ruins, it's got AT-ATs, it has big, huge bridges. There's a lot of things on this level. Did you guys have problems with any of the performance of this level, and was that a unique challenge? And if so, how did you deal with it from a programming and a level design?
Yeah, we mostly were crying and shouting. And, well, had a couple of good ideas, but I guess it's always about cooperation. So we were crying and shouting, and same was happening on the LDN artist side. And after endless fights and a lot of dust in the office, it finally looked like that. So.
Well, I mean, essentially, this Ralltiir used to span 2 levels. What you see in the final version of Rebel Strike, you get the first flight version. And initially, this was just a first sub-level. So, as you can see, it was so huge by itself that we figured it can stand alone as its own level. In terms of the difficulties, we tried to use a tile-based system for the buildings. I mean, if you notice, if you look carefully at the buildings, they are really just made out of a select series of parts, and they're just reused over and over again and placed into kind of a grid structure, and we just kind of reuse buildings as opposed to custom building each and every single little structure. So that kind of helped with performance a little bit. Also, from the level design side, we kept the level relatively contained so that the player doesn't end up flying all over the place, and the action's kind of focused and kept in the center of the city.
Yeah, it's always about smoke and mirrors and just really try to hide what you're doing to simplify things in terms of realization. Just build what you need to build, just render what you render, well, what you can see, and make it look great and grand, and achieve it with as little of an overhead as possible. If you look at the shadows here and you look very careful, shadows that are cast by the buildings and ruins, well, they're actually cast all by boxes and nothing more than boxes. So it's not really a real shadow at all. And all this contributes, together with the effort that Al was mentioning, to get this to move and to hopefully be fun.
The sun looks really beautiful, or the way it sort of scatters. Is that a good example of how this light scattering is working?
Yeah, that's actually pretty much a mathematical part of the whole thing. Because nobody has drawn a sun there, and nobody has particularly placed it. It's just the direction the light comes from, and artists selected the right density for the atmosphere and a couple of color tweaks so that it looks that way. But that's actually a pure mathematical artifact, you could say. It looks beautiful on top of it, so that's a nice effect.
Before we go, are there any special tips or secrets about this level that people should be aware of?
There's a couple of fun facts, I suppose. If you notice in the middle of the city, the shield generator is actually borrowed from the original Rogue Leader shield generator on Hoth. Also, if you look at the bridges, they look surprisingly like the Golden Gate Bridge, and surprisingly enough, they were kind of derived from the Golden Gate Bridge shown in the Tornado trailer, if any of you remember that.